Hello and welcome back to Cowboys Insiders, the ultimate destination for everything surrounding the Dallas Cowboys, where the passions meets analysis and every fan has a voice. No matter where you're watching from, whether you are where you have lifelong supporters or just now becoming part of the Cowboys nations, you are officially in the right place. This is a community that built for those who understand that the being Cowboys fans is not just about watching the games, but it's just about feeling every moment in the Dallas Cowboys, celebrating every victory and questioning every decision that shapes this historic franchise. Here at Cowboys Insiders, we don't just report the news, but we break it down, we challenge it, and we connect to the dots in ways that give you a deeper understanding of what are really happening behind the scene. From the board leadership and vision of the owner of the Dallas Cowboys, Jerry Jones, to the performances on the field led by a star like Dak Prescott, the explosive playmaking of the CD Lamb, and the unstoppable defensive force that is Amika Parson. We cover every angle of this team with clarity, depth, and honesty. This is the place where every move matters. Whether it's breaking down the latest NFL draft picks, analyzing a trade rumors, and reacting to a free agency's decisions, or previewing the next big games, we make sure you are always one step ahead. We look at strategy, the risk, that opportunity, the long-term vision of the Cowboys, because understanding the why behind every decision is what separates a real fan from a casual viewers. What makes this channel different is energy and connection we build together with you. This isn't just me tracking, it's all of us thinking, reacting, and debating on community, and your opinion matter here. Your perspective adds to the conversation. Every comment, every like, and every share help to grow this platform into something bigger and something stronger, and also something that truly represents Cowboys fans everywhere. So if you are new to Cowboy Insiders, now is the perfect time to join. Hit that subscribe button and become part of the glowing moments of fans who wants more than just surface level content. And for those who have been already subscribed, your support does not go unnoticed. You are the foundation of this channel, and everything we do is to build with your mind. As the Cowboys continue the journey, chasing a greatness, facing a challenge, and striving to return to the top of the NFL, we will be here every step of the way, every update, every breakdown, and every reaction. You will find it right here, delivered with a passion and purpose. The Dallas Cowboys are once again at the center of attention as they navigate the most crucial moments in the modern era, and everything about their approach to NFL draft, it reflects a franchise that is no longer satisfied with simply being competitive. This is a team driven by urgency, shaped by a past disappointment, and fueled by a deep desire to return to the top of National Football League. For years, the Cowboys have carried the weight of expectations only because of their history, but because of the immense spotlight that follows them everywhere. So now more than ever, that spotlight is focused on how they build their roster through a draft and how those decisions will define their immediate future. At the center of this entire operation stands a Jerry Jones, a figure whose influence on a franchise cannot be overstated. Jerry Jones has built his reputation on bold move, aggressive decisions, and the unwavering belief that the Cowboys should always be contenders. Unlike many organizations that embrace a long-term rebuild, Dallas operates with a win-now mentality, and that philosophy is clearly reflected in how they approach the draft. Every pick is not just about potential, it is about an immediate impact. It is about finding the players who can step into a high-pressure environment and delivers results from a moment they arrive. The foundations of the current Cowboys roster is strong, and it begins with a quarterback, Dak Prescott, where a Dak Prescott has been the leader of the team for years, and while his performances have often been impressive and the narrative surrounding him to become increasingly tied to postseason success. The rectangular season consistency is no longer enough. The expectations now is clear. Take the team deeper into a playoff and compete for a championship. Supporting Prescott is one of the league's most dynamic wide receivers in CD Lamb, whose ability to create separations, make explosive plays, and dominate defenses has made him a cornerstone of the offense. Together, they form a partnership that has the potential to be one of the most dangerous in the NFL. But even that is not sufficient, but the right supporting cost. On the defensive side of the ball, Micah Parsons has emerged as a generational talent. And Micah Parsons is not just a linebacker, he is a complete defensive weapon capable of flashing the passer, dropping into the coverage, and disrupting a plays in ways that few players in the league can replicate. His presence alone changes how opposing offenses prepare for the Cowboys. However, the team has recognized that relying too heavily on one player, no matter how talented, is not sustainable strategy. The draft therefore becomes an opportunity to build a defensive unit that complements a person's. One of the most pressing concerns for the Dallas heading into this draft is the offensive line. Once considered the gold standard of the NFL, the Cowboys' offensive line has experienced a gradual decline due to the injuries, aging players, and a roster turnover. Protecting a Dak Prescott has become an absolute priority, not just to maintain offensive efficiency, but to ensure the long-term health and effectiveness of the quarterback position. The front office is acutely aware that without the strong and reliable offensive line, even the most talented offense can struggle. As a result, the Cowboys are expected to invest heavily in a lineman who combines a physical strength, technical skills, and the mental awareness needed to adapt a speed of professional game. Beyond the trenches, the Cowboys are also focused on adding a depth and versatility to the defensive unity. The modern NFL demands defenses that can adapt to a wide range of offensive schemes, from a high-powered passing attacks to a balanced run-heavy system. So a Dallas is targeting a player who brings a speed, flexibility, and intelligence to the field, defenders who can cover in multiple positions, react quickly to the changing situations, and contribute in various roles. This approach reflects a broader shift in the team philosophy, one that emphasizes adaptability and strategic depth over a rigid position role. Offensively, the need for additional weapons is another key focus. While CeeDee Lamb has established himself as a true number one receiver, the Cowboys understand that elite offenses require a multiple threat. Defenses have become increasingly sophisticated and relying on a single dominant receiver who can make an offense predictable. By adding another wide receiver with a speed, a tight end who can both block and crush the running back who excel in at passing game, Dallas can create a more dynamic and unpredictable attack. This not only helps Prescott but also forces opposing defenses to spread their attention, opening up opportunities across the field. And what makes this year's draft particularly interesting is the way of the Cowboys are blending traditional scouting with a modern analytics. The organization has embraced a data-driven decisions making, analyzing players' performance metrics, injury histories, and scheme fit in a greater detail than ever before. This evolution demonstrates willingness to adapt to the changing landscape of the National Football League, where a success often depends on finding the right balance between intuition and information. It is a sign that the Cowboys are not just relying on their legacy, but are actively working to stay ahead of the curve. The pressure surrounding the franchise cannot be ignored. The Cowboys are one of the most recognizable teams in a sport, and with that recognition comes constantly scrutiny. Every decision is analyzed, every game is dissected, and every failure is magnified. For Jerry Jones, the pursuit of another championship is deeply personal. For a Dak Prescott, and the stakes are equally highly, as his legacy as a quarterback will ultimately be defined by a postseason success. For the coaching staff, the expectations is simple but demanding. Deliver result. In this context, the NFL draft become more than just a process of selecting a player. It become a defining moment, a chance to reshape the roster and address a critical weaknesses and build a team capable of competing at the highest level. The Cowboys are not looking for developmental prospects who may take years to reach their potential. They are just looking for players who can contribute immediately, who can handle the intensity of the NFL, and who can help the team win now. As the draft unfolds, each selection carries a significant weight. A successful pick can strengthen a key area of the roster, while missed opportunities can leave gaps that opponents will exploit. The margin for error is small, and the importance of each decision is magnified by the team's current position as contender. The Cowboys are close and closer enough to believe that the right addition could make all the difference. Ultimately, the story of the Dallas Cowboys at this moment is one of determination and transformation. They are a team with a proud history, talented roster, and clear objective. The challenge lies on turning a potential into performance, in translating a draft day decisions into on-the-field success, and in providing that they can rise above the expectations that have defined them for so long time. So if those NFL draft in the Dallas Cowboys succeed, this draft could be remembered as the moment when everything came together, the moment when the Cowboys finally bridged the gaps between promise and achievement. Person trade last of season. A new mock draft from ESPN has been released. That mock draft has Dallas using the number 12 overall picks to upgrade its pass rush. The Dallas Cowboys connected to a major defensive addition. So in ESPN's a new mock draft, Field Yates was in the charge of making the Cowboys' first selection at number 12. He has a team scoping up Miami Hurricanes standout pass rusher. The mission to fix the Cowboys' defense should start with the addition of the Bane. Yates wrote, the ACC Defensive Player of the Year has hand destruction that will travel to the NFL, and he had 9.5 sacks last season for the Hurricanes. Ben would be instant upgrade for the defense that could use a better pass rush. Even after acquiring Lashan Gally in a trade with a Packers, a Dallas could use a help in this NFL draft. So while during 2025 college football season with the Hurricanes, Ben was a big part of the reason they made run to the national championship. They didn't win the championship, but that didn't take away from a Ben impressive season. He racked up 54 total tackles to go along with 9 sacks and a forced fumble, an interception, and a defended pass. Throughout his 3 years career at Miami, he totaled 121 tackles and 20 sacks, and 4 forced fumbles on interception and 2 defended passes. Jerry Jones is still away off from a Super Bowl contention. Current point in time, the Cowboys do not take a part in a top-tier Super Bowl contender. They have improved with addition of the guard safety John Thompson and cornerback Kobe Durant, but no blockbuster moves has been made to drastically improve the team. No one can count a Dallas out, and anything can happen during the course of NFL season. However, it appears that Jones has more work to do. One of the main storylines of the 2025 and 26 NFL offseason was a Max Crosby of the Las Vegas Raiders being available for a trade, and the Dallas Cowboys were one of the teams in the hunt for him. Cowboys owner and general manager Jerry Jones has expressed that the team was very serious about bringing a Max Crosby and made 3 trade offers. but instead of Crosby went to the Baltimore Ravens, only to fail his physical and come back to the Raiders. So today, Jones is talking about the Crosby again in the NFL free agencies and NFL draft. The Ravens, of course, cited Crosby fairly physical as why they took back their offers to bring him to a Baltimore. Speaking with reporters at the NFL Annual League meeting in Phoenix, Arizona, Jones basically said that the Cowboys could have done the same thing. There is no hidden items there. You have got a pass physical, and he said, according to the Las Vegas Review a journal, we have never completed and agreed until the players passes the physical. We would have had some conditional with a physical for the Max Crosby in order to join the Dallas Cowboy. Jones added, as you know, we were in on making an offer for him. So he would have come to a Dallas and we will all just guess what would be happens on Max Crosby deal with the Dallas Cowboy. The Dallas Cowboy owner Jerry Jones get awards after Max Crosby comments made at NFL League Marketing. As for those comments from Jerry Jones, to Lotta of Landry Hart says in Thursday, April 2, future that the bad faith crowd isn't going to enjoy leading that court. So Jones didn't go as far as say that a Dallas would have flowed a Baltimore lead. Trotter adds, but he didn't have to. Add it's make you wonder if other interested teams would have done. Ravens handled their situation and why it was controversial. But put it lightly, it's one thing to back out the trade because failed physically. What makes a Baltimore look so sad in that they reportedly communicated with a free agent Trey Hendrickson before bailing on the Las Vegas Raiders. Of course, the team then signed Hendrickson for 4 years on a contract of $112 million according to research from a Spotlight. So, knowing how much Jones loves making headlines and how much star powers the Cowboys need on the defense, it's a pretty bonkers that he walked away from a biggest move of the NFL offseason. That almost vindicates Baltimore's decision, as sad as it looks in retrospect. The Dallas Cowboys Max Crosby trade pinches included a 3 board moves. According to reports from ESPN's Ryan Emsfarden out on March 2024, the Dallas Cowboys proposed 3 different deals to Las Vegas Raiders that started with picks number 12 in the 2026 draft and also Adigizua to get Crosby to Texas. Initial offers centered on a Dallas second first round picks at number 12 and defensive tackles Osa Odishizua. MC Faden said in the report the Cowboys then offered their top first rounded at number 12 and third round pick. He added ultimately the Cowboys moved to number 12 and their second round picks, but the last 2 offers, sources said did not include Odigizua, who had traded to San Francisco. Here is a probable good reason for NFL teams, which has made to move two pairs wide receiver above 30 millions each. It's the same reason you wouldn't want to up on that kind of the money at any position. The Dallas Cowboys know this better than anyone else after suffering through a miserable season in 2025 in which they paid a two cornerback at Levon Dix and Dallon Brand on contract worth about 187 millions for combined players and got a little in return. Also, why the Cowboys would be smart to try to trade NFL or Pro George Pickens this offseason, when his value will never be higher, and make sure they get a kind package box it return that still allows the offense to be among the NFL best and also sets them up for the future. So in this scenario of a George Pickens means identifying teams that might be overly eager to get a player like Pickens back in return. The team, just like Atlanta Falcons, in these scenarios, the Cowboys could ask for a Falcons wide receiver at Drake London and their 2026 round picks. There is many reasons why a deal makes sense for the Dallas Cowboys in this 2026. When the Cowboys traded with a Pittsburgh Steelers for Pickens before the 2026 season, they got back a player who was going to be supremely motivated because they were playing for a big money contract to the next year. Formally, they could repeat with a London in 2026. London has been a great wide receiver on some terrible teams since the Falcons took him with the number 8 overall picks out of in NFL draft. Over his first 4 seasons, London has 17 games averages of 85 receptions and for 1,086 yards and 6 touchdowns, including career heights of 100 receptions and 1,271 yards and 7 touchdowns in 2024. In 25, London had 68 receptions for 919 yards and 7 touchdowns despite missing a career-high 5 games due to injury. So a George Pickens automatically fan favorite in Atlanta. Pro Football Focus called a Falcons and new head coach Kevin Stefanski the best place for a Pickens to land. The trend for Senelli to the Dallas cemented Pickens as a bona fide elite name at the receiver position, and entering his age of 25 season, he will have no shortage of sweeter this free agency cycle. This past season, George Pickens earned career-best 78 PFF receiving a grade, posting a top 3 marks in receiving yardage and 15 plus yards reception of 15. The 2026 season will prove to be an important crossroad for Amika Penix Jr. Development as a passer, pairing Pickens with a Drake London with a create one of the NFL most electric receiver duos, and it set the young quarterback up for the success. Pickens help any teams. He is on winning game, but in Atlanta, he is also a box office draw. Don't forget that Pickens studied in University of Georgia. Thank you for leading with us every single day. Your support means everything and help us to continue bringing you the latest breaking news and coverage of non-stop on different operations on the Dallas Cowboys. Now, Cowboys Nation, are you feeling confident about this team heading into a new season? And also, I can ask you if do you believe Dallas finally has what it takes to complete a Lombardi Trophy. Drop through in the comment section because today update are massive and there is a lot of talk about the let's get straight into. The buzz around the Dallas Cowboy continues to grow as the franchise punches a deeper into a massive off-season transformation that could completely reshape the identity of an American team heading into 2026 NFL season. After another year filled with a playoff expectations, a roster questions, a salary cap, conversations, and a heavy scrutiny from fans and analysts across the league, the Cowboys front office is attacking this offseason with a far more aggressive mindset than many expected. From NFL draft strategy to free agency's depth moves from a locker room leadership questions to offensive scheme adjustment, everything happening inside the star line now suggests this organization understands the pressure to finally return to a Super Bowl contention. One of the biggest talking points surrounding the Dallas remain a quarterback, Dak Prescott, and expectations placed on him entering another critical season. Prescott continues to face enormous pressure because the Cowboys have invested heavily in him as the face of franchise, but fans are demanding a postseason result instead of a regular season dominance. Inside a league cycle, many executives still believe Dak is one of the most efficient quarterbacks when protected by a stable offensive line and supported by a balanced land game. However, critics continue pointing towards a turnover in a key moment, a red zone inconsistencies, and struggles against elite playoff defenses as the major concerns that the Dallas must overcome if they want to make a deep January run. The Cowboys coaching staff reportedly spent much of the offseason studying ways to evolve the offensive scheme into a more explosive and unpredictable attack. Expect more pre-snap motions, heavier use of the play action concepts, quicker tempo packages, and expanded vertical route tree designed to maximize mismatches against opposing secondaries. Dallas understands the modern NFL is built around offensive flexibility and sources around the league believes the Cowboys want to create an offense capable of attacking a defenses at every level of the field instead of relying too heavily on isolation routes and conservation sequencing. A huge reason for optimism remains a superstar wide receiver, CeeDee Lamb, who has evolved a yards after catch explosiveness and the ability to line up both outside and in the slot make him almost impossible to game plan against for a 4 quarters. Coaches inside the organization reportedly what to move him around even more this season to create leverage advantages and force defenses into unfavorable coverage looks. League scouts believe Lamb is entering the absolute prime of his career, and there is growing feeling that the Dallas may build the entire offensive identity around his versatility moving forward. Meanwhile, the Cowboys' running back room continues to be one of the most heavily debated units on the roster. So the Dallas has clearly been searching for a more explosiveness and consistency after struggling to establish a dominance on the ground in critical games that season. NFL insiders believe the organization wants more physical or downhill rushing identity combined with outside zone speed concept that can strengthen defenses horizontally. So the front office also appear committed to improving a short yardage efficiency. So something that became the frustrating weakness during a key moment last year. Analysts expect a Dallas to continue evaluating veteran market options while simultaneously developing a younger back who fits the new offensive philosophy. The offensive line remains another central storyline because protecting a Dak Prescott has become one of the franchise's top priorities. So injuries and inconsistencies affected the unit of different points last season, but the Cowboys still believe they possess foundational pieces capable of restoring a dominance in trenches Dallas scout. And the coaches have emphasized versatility, athleticism, and cross protection intelligence while evaluating alignment throughout the offseason. The organization reportedly wants to build the unit into a faster and more adaptable group capable of handling modern defensive pressure packages, especially against an elite NFL pass rusher. Defensively, the Cowboys continue building around superstar edge rusher Micah Parsons, who remains one of the most feared defenders in football. The Parsons has completely transformed the identity of the Cowboys defense with his inherent burst, crossing a speed pass rusher versatility and relentless motor. Opposing offensive coordinator now build entire protection plans around limiting his impact, yet he still consistently creates pressure and game-changing plays. Around the league, many believe Parsons is not only the cornerstone on the Cowboys defense but also one of the few defenders capable of completing talking over a playoff game by himself. There is also growing excitement surrounding a Dallas defensive depth and hybrid personnel packages. Coaches reportedly want to create a more disguised look before the snap, giving a quarterback fewer opportunities to identify the coverages and blitzes early. The Cowboys' defense has become increasingly positionless in a certain situation with a linebacker and safety expected to rotate responsibilities depending on matchups. That flexibility could become one of the biggest strengths of the roster if a younger defender continues developing at the pace the organization expects. So another major focus this offseason has been improving a run defense, especially after a severe physical dominance. Opponents exposed weakness in the front seven during a critical stretches of the previous season. Dallas Cowboys understand that playoff football often becomes a battle of the physical in the trenches, and there is reportedly strong emphasis on adding a tough interior defenders capable of controlling gaps and collapsing lashing lanes. Coaches want a more disciplined unit that can maintain aggressions without sacrificing assignment integrity. The Cowboys front office, led by the owner, Jerry Jones, continues to face enormous pressure from fans demanding a return to championship relevance. So Jones has repeatedly emphasized that the organization remains fully committed to winning now. And insiders around the NFL believe Dallas could continue making aggressive roster moves if opportunities arise during training camp or the regular season. The franchise understands that the patience among the fan base is wearing thin after years of the playoff disappointment, despite a strong regular season record. One of the most interesting aspects of the Cowboys offseason is how much attention the franchise has placed on leadership and locker room culture. Coaches reportedly want a stronger accountability across the roster, especially in high-pressure moments late in the games. So the veterans have been challenged to create a more disciplined and mentally resilient environment capable of handling adversity when expectations rise. So the Dallas has talent that has never been the issue. The really question is whether this roster can finally translate a potential into a postseason execution. The NFC landscape is also becoming increasingly competitive, which means a Dallas cannot afford regulation. Teams across the conference continue improving through the draft and free agencies, and coaching changes are putting even more urgency of the Cowboys to maximize their championship window immediately. The analyst believes that the Cowboys roster still possesses enough inherent talent to compete with any team in football, but consistent health and late season execution will ultimately determine whether this group become legitimate Super Bowl contender or another talented team that falls short under pressure. As a training camp